Hey y'all, I'm Damon Oates, founder of Deco Exchange. Who else has heard that crafting is just a hobby? I turned my love of crafting into a thriving multi-seven-figure company, surrounded myself in an amazing community, and met some amazing business owners along the way. I'm here to show everyone that makers mean business.
What is up, you guys? It is Parker here, back with another episode of the Makers Mean Business podcast. Y'all, today we've got Marissa Sayers here with us, and we're here to talk about MLMs. So, Marissa, why don't you just give us a little background about who you are and what you do? And I know you do stuff other than MLMs as well, so you can definitely talk about that as well. Let's hear what you got, Marissa.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Marissa, and you just kind of want like how I got started into MLMs or the pre-story.
What do you do now? Like what kind of business are you running right now?
Physical goods, blanks mostly is what I like to do, and also drop ship fulfillment for other businesses who want to add maybe another line or item to their existing business, but they don't actually want to fulfill it.
Okay, so physical products, I know a little bit about your business, so I'll kind of help you out here, but cups and signs, metal signs specifically. But obviously we're here to talk about MLMs. So what do you do in the MLM space right now?
I am with a cosmetic skincare company, and I have been for almost over 4 years. I just hit my 4 years, and I love it. So there I do a lot of mentoring with my team, and a lot of helping women find confidence in their existing beauty and how to kind of accentuate it instead of thinking that they just need to mask it or something's wrong with them, they need to fix it. It's not really about that.
Cool. Well, as a maker or as a listener even to our podcast, why do you think MLMs are basically it's like a toolkit, right? I mean, we've talked about a lot in our business coaching group about diversifying income and revenue and not putting all your eggs in one basket. So what are a couple things that make you think that MLM or MLMs in general are a good option to kind of be another thing on your Swiss Army knife of business?
Multiple reasons. One, I think for somebody who is maybe thinking about starting a business, they're not really sure where to get started or if they'd even be interested. MLM is an amazing opportunity. It is going to be extremely low cost to get started with most direct selling companies. And you have the product information education already built in. You already have a mentor that you have sought out. You should be looking at who specifically you want to sign up with, someone who can lead you through the steps, how to get you started. And it's a very basically cheap way to see if you even want to dip your toe into the entrepreneur space. It's shipping, sales, marketing. It's all the same things as any other physical product, and except you do not have to source the product. You do not have to actually make the product. So those things somebody else does for you. Absolutely. You are just the actual marketing, sales, customer service. And for an existing business, I think it is a great option to add on just to have an extra stream of income, especially if you already have customers, you already have a platform, you already have people buying stuff from you. Mm-hmm. If you find a company that fits your morals, your beliefs, your standards, then adding that on, it can be strictly another source of income. You're already experienced with shipping, marketing, and all that stuff, and it's just adding another product to your business line.
Got it. I think there's definitely a lot of negative connotations associated with MLMs. I mean, just being perfectly honest, do you feel do you want to dispel some of those myths really quick before we really get into the main discussions about MLMs?
Sure. I think that you're absolutely right. There are a lot of people who have very negative feelings. And in my personal opinion, because there's people out there who don't really know what to do. They don't have an outside source of help for their business. Maybe they are only looking inside the company. And so the way a direct sales company works is, well, I can't speak for every single one, but most of them is, somebody has taught their downline something, who has taught their downline something, who has taught their downline something. And most of it is amazing. And most, high up downlines, they are getting outside sources. But when you are just starting, it can be very overwhelming. And so you get caught copying and pasting what other people do, which don't do. You get caught in the whole just kind of seeming desperate and just that, I hate to say it, but just that stereotypical MLM person who is cringy and people really don't want to be around because they feel like every single time you have a conversation, they're going to try and jam their products down your throat. And that's not how any business should work. And I think that that's how it's gotten a bad name. There have been a few companies out there that also, they have very strict guidelines on what you are and are not allowed to post. And so the people in those companies, they can look very repetitive and like they're copying, and it's not their fault. It's just, whatever guidelines that their own company has.
Right. I think MLMs are a good kind of addition to, kind of like you said, an addition to an existing business, but it's also like a business in a box kind of thing. And I know that's kind of like, it sounds like a cliche kind of, but it eliminates all the need to go find a product, to source a product, to deal with all that stuff. And it gives you a really good, like a test on if this is, I know you mentioned this, I'm just reiterating it, a good test to see if that's something you really want to get into. But my biggest suggestion for any of you guys, whether it be starting your own business or getting into an MLM, is to treat it like a business, right? Because the worst thing that can happen, like I said, either starting your own business or working in an MLM, is that you treat it like a hobby. And some things that I think are people treating it like hobbies is selling it to your friends and family, or giving it to your friends and family, or relying on them for everything. And to me, that's one of the main myths or problems that MLMs face, is the people treat it like hobbies and they expect their friends and families to, oh, buy this, do this. And that's not how real business operates, right? You find your own customers, you do your own marketing, you find people who actually have their problems solved by the product that you're selling. So whether it be MLM or not, you guys, make sure that you're treating your business like a business and not like a hobby. I know that's like a little off tangent, but I feel like it really, for me, it solves one of the main problems that MLMs face in the terms of, oh, well, you're just going to keep bothering your family to sell. And you don't have to do that. You can build a community. You can create marketing online, especially if it's allowed by your company. Obviously, each one is different. But let's just jump into MLMs in general. Like, who do you think would be a good fit for MLMs?
Honestly, like you said, it's a business in a box. And I think that anyone who honestly is an entrepreneur, I think that everyone should have as many revenue streams as possible. And as long as you are joining an MLM that, connects with your business, your company, your beliefs, your morals, your standards, and checks those boxes off, as well as if you already have pre-existing a customer base, something that they'd be interested in, then I think it's a great addition to that. I'm someone who I think that everyone
Yeah, you could find something, basically.
Yes, there are so many.
What are a couple things to kind of look out for when you're scouting out potential MLMs, just for those people who are interested about it?
So I think most important is making sure that you are going to be selling something that you are authentically in love with. Same thing for personal business, right? If you get into business for me, I love cups, but if I hated cups, it wouldn't make sense for me to then sell them, because I would just be miserable. So same thing. Don't join a fitness MLM if you hate working out and you hate eating healthy, because it's going to become awful for you.
Right.
Also, the compensation plan is really important. A lot of people can get caught up, which this is another one of those things that I think turns people off to MLMs, is because people make it seem like it's so easy. They make it seem like it's a get rich overnight thing, and it's not. It's a lot of very hard work. It's called network marketing, is what I tell my girls. It takes a lot of work, and same as any other business. And so knowing the compensation plan before you decide to join the MLM is really important, because they are not all created equal. And there are a lot of compensation plans that are geared very highly towards building a team and very low on the sales aspect. And in my opinion, when you are joining and starting an MLM, you should do the opposite. You should be looking for the sales aspect, because that's you yourself. You can be reliable for that. You can increase or decrease your income based off your work ethic. Your team compensation is not the same. You cannot force somebody to do more sales or to go get more people.
Right.
And so, in my opinion, people should be focusing on how much of the compensation plan is based off their own personal work so that they have more control over their paycheck.
Got it. Very cool.
And then, sorry, I forgot the last one. The last one, really important thing, I think, is the coaching mentoring aspect. So making sure if you're interested in a direct sales company that you are doing your research of who you're signing up with. I know a lot of people sign up with friends or family or a coworker who's, like you said, doing it as a hobby, and they might be really gung-ho and wanting to do it as a full-time business opportunity, and the person that they signed up underneath is not. So that person, you know, how knowledgeable are they on the compensation plan, the products, how to use them, the rules, all of that sort of stuff. So that's really important. Also, in the same breath, finding somebody outside of your direct sales company, I have found literally priceless, because it's a completely different view on things. Obviously, I'm here in the mastermind and with you guys and in Damon's coaching group, and that is something that is invaluable because you are being taught just marketing in general, sales in general, how to find your perfect customer in general, instead of only finding, you know, that one person for your product. You want to be more, you don't want to find someone who only wants lipstick. Like, you want to find the whole person that you're marketing to.
Yeah. So you mentioned a couple key things that I kind of wanted to deep dive a little more into. But before we do that, I wanted to just mention one thing. I think it's important to consider the brand's, what is the correct word I'm looking for here? Their
Like values?
Yeah, brand values or something along that line, right? You want to make sure that their beliefs, their marketing material, their stance on, you know, how to run a business and how to be successful aligns with yours. Because otherwise it's almost like trying to sell a product that you don't really believe in. If you're trying to support something that you don't really believe in on a different level, it won't really work out. So I just want to kind of throw that in there as well with all the other things that you mentioned. But as far as compensation plan, right? Everyone's worried about the money. What are I don't know if you can even talk about this, so stop me if I'm wrong, but can you talk about the different ways you can get paid in your specific one? I know a disclaimer, everyone is going to be different and you need to refer to each of the different compensation plans. But from the MLMs that I've either been a part of or looked into, there are a lot of similarities between the ways you can get paid. So if you can talk about it, please let us know. What are some ways that you're generating revenue in your specific MLM?
So in our specific MLM, you can get paid 3 different ways. You get paid directly, you know, the sales that you make, you're getting paid from your customers, and so sales. And then you get paid 2 different ways for your team commission. Basically, you have your standard team commission, and then once you've grown your team to a certain volume, then that second bonus, for lack of better terms, comes in. Okay. So 3 different ways specifically.
So you guys, I'm going to implore you now, especially with compensation, but really everything that's in the contracts and the agreements that you sign, make sure that you understand them and make sure that you really get a grip for what you can and can't do in your business. Then the last thing that we talked about, or you kind of mentioned, was education. So what are maybe some tips and tricks that you learned along the way, whether it be about business in general or MLM specific, that you want to kind of share with our listeners today?
The biggest thing that I think took me a minute to learn, and I think why I grew so quickly, is because I already had been an entrepreneur when I joined my first and only direct sales company. And so I treated it like a business instead of a hobby. To me, it was no different. I was getting customers, I was packaging orders, shipping them out, following up. And so I think treating like a business is one of the most important tips that I can give. You know, I had a business bank account, I kept funds separate, all of that sort of stuff that can get lost in trainings, which is why I said, in my opinion, it's important to make sure you have an outside resource for business coaching instead of solely only in your direct sales company, because it's just a different lens, I guess. And so the way that I was marketing things was different because I was already used to marketing other physical products. And so I think that made a big difference in how my business grew, because I did not come across as, unfortunately they don't know better, that classic MLM person who was just asking their friends and family and posting all the time on their personal profile, because I already had been taught otherwise. Right. So I was using those other skills. So absolutely. I highly encourage all of my girls. I recommend people to my girls. Obviously I coach them as well, but I still, even though I know that, I still recommend that they find somebody that they jive with and that they like, and that they get outside coaching from them.
Awesome. Well, Marissa, I've got 2 things left to ask you. The first thing is, where can people find you? Like, what, all your things, like where, social media, anything like that you want to shout yourself out?
Marissa Sayers on everything.
Got it. Well, you guys, we'll put all that in the show notes as well, so you don't have to go hunting it down. But then the last thing I want to ask you is, so you do MLM, which isn't necessarily in the creative space, but you also have other parts of your business that are in the creative space. So what does being a maker mean to you? And feel free to share any of the story that you'd like. I know you've got a lot of what's the word here? You've got a lot of reasons. Oh. You've got a lot of reasons why being a business owner is important to you. So feel free to share whatever you like, but I just wanted to ask, what does being a maker mean to you?
Most importantly, it allows me to be able to be home with my kids and be able to be there for them. We have our youngest had an accident, and she's fine now. She's doing much better, but she has had a lot of appointments, a lot of speech therapy, things of that nature, physical therapy, all of that. And so I haven't had to miss any. Well, except for this week, but that's okay. Haven't had to miss any. I'm able to be there for that. I'm able to be there when she needs me and not have to worry about disappointing someone else, because I know I can get my work done at 3 a.m. when she's asleep. I can make those sacrifices. And I have found, actually, I found it through the MLM space, which I never knew that I'd be interested in this, but mentoring and coaching lights up a part of me that I didn't know existed. Before I joined an MLM, I helped people, my friends, basically, start Etsy's and get started, and I loved it. But when you start building a team, I was able to experience for the first time, like, mentoring and coaching, and that opened up a whole new world of possibilities. And I would say those 2 reasons: my kids, and I love seeing other people succeed. And this sounds selfish, but let's just be honest, knowing I had like even a tiny part of that makes my whole entire day. So getting into the wholesale selling, like, that's me helping another little business be able to make a product and then sell and generate income for their families, and hopefully be able to allow them to accomplish their dreams. And if it's stay home, I'm able to be a tiny part of that, even through the blank tumbler selling.
That's excellent. Because obviously being a business owner means a lot to you. So you just want to kind of spark that same, those similar feelings, or maybe even that same opportunity in someone else. It's just being a mentor or a coach is something special. Also
with one last thing I forgot to mention, the personal development that I never was doing before being in a business and working on myself, and to the level that I'm doing it now, and just seeing the drastic changes that have happened in myself, my ways that I can communicate. Like doing this, for example,
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And so that has been, friends, family, so many people pointed out, and not in a bad way, like, oh my gosh, you've changed so much, like in almost
it's just growth.
Yeah. And it pushes you. Like, I don't think I would have done this much work this quickly if it hadn't been for being a maker and being a business owner. And so for that, it's like, I don't think I can ever go back, because it's too good.
Yeah, I understand. Well, Marissa, thank you so much for being on the interview today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to chat with us. And y'all, I'll make sure to link all of her bio, all of her information in the show notes. But you guys, if you enjoyed this episode, if you want to catch us next time, make sure you subscribe at makersmeanbusiness.com or wherever you get your podcast. See you next time, y'all.
Bye.